What's going on, y'all? We in the building once again. It is Cowboys and Eagles week. Ah, you know how that goes. Cowboy Nation feels deflated because how the season has went. Eagles is on a high horse because how their season is going. But when it comes down to the divisional games, nothing else matters but that game. You could be 0 and 15 and get your win in the division. We all familiar with each other. We know each other's game and we know each other's name. Who was going to be the best within them 60 minutes? Can the best team, so called, which will be the Eagles, at this point finish? Or could the Cowboys do what they've been doing for the past few years, which is own the Eagles? We're going to find out Sunday evening. So let's get straight to business, y'all. Let's talk about the matchup. We're going to get straight into it, man. We're going to start with the Eagles offense first. Eagles offense. Hold on, let me make sure we good. All right, bet. So Eagles offense, the key players is Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, A.J. Brown, Dallas Goedert, and Devontae Smith. The key matchups will be them backers versus Saquon. Probably the most important one. Diggs versus A.J. Brown. Donovan Wilson, maybe a little hooker on Goddard. That's probably the second most important one. It probably don't look like Bland playing for what I've seen on the practice report. So Kalen Carson, most likely versus Devontae Smith. I see Micah Parsons practice, so it looked like he's back. So Micah Parsons versus the tackles. Will he have rust? Is he in shape? All questions that you're going to find out. This coming up Sunday. So, y'all know since we're so familiar, the scouting report that has always been the past couple years is kind of the same, but it has evolved some. One of the things that has evolved is Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts looked even better in the pocket. He still has his flaws, but he's a passer. Can't lie. But the key, even though he's looking better, is to contain him. Keep him in the pocket and make him beat you. Make him throw the ball 35, 40 times. You know, the number one key for the Dallas Cowboys is containing Saquon. As Saquon go, the Philadelphia Eagles go. Not Jalen Hurts, not Dallas Goedert, not A.J. Brown, not Devontae Smith. As Saquon Barkley goes, as Philadelphia Eagles team goes. So the number one goal is to stop Saquon. If Jalen Hurts throw 350 on you, then hey, we can live with that. But we can't live with Saquon Barkley running for 150 yards on us. You can't live with that. The game will be over before halftime if you allow that man to run the ball on you. Pass rush is not as important this game. It's always important, but it ain't a complete emphasis. The emphasis is keeping Jalen Hurts in the pocket. Now, one thing that I have noticed in watching the film is he still runs. He picks and chooses when he runs, but he doesn't run as often as he used to, you know, which shows, you know, how he's evolved as a quarterback. Can't say the same for foe, but hey, you know. So, in looking at their formations, right? You know, I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Kellen Moore is actually calling a solid game. Kellen Moore calling a solid game, y'all. He's been calling a solid game for the couple games that I watched. But in the formations that I watched, I seen them in a lot of 11, 10, 5 wide. And at times they pick it out, right? When they want to, they'll run some 12 and 13 personnel. But the majority of the personnel that I've seen in the film that I watched, because I was only able to watch a couple games, is that they've always at minimum, I believe they did that last year too with the 3 wide, but at minimum, more times than not, they'll have 3 wide receivers on the field. Now, when they have 5 wide receivers on the field, of course, uh, spreading you out, Jalen Hurts could, you still got to worry about the wide receivers. You got to match up, but also, even though I haven't seen it as much in the film like I have been in years past, Jalen Hurts is still a threat to take off in 5 wide. Be mindful. Let's rush in our lanes, defensive line. Let's rush in our lanes. Now, we've been doing a solid job without an 11 rushing in our lanes, but with 11 back, you can expect some under from this defense because 11 is back. If we just being honest, I'm just going to be honest with you. A lot of the times, right, when I seen Hurts hold the ball, good things for the opposing team happens when he holds the ball in the pocket. So if we can get him to hold the ball, you probably might got some opportunities to go ahead and make a play on the ball. Now, with their offensive line, one thing to note is that they kicked the tackle in at guard, Mekhi Becton. I remember Mekhi Becton with the Jets. I wasn't too high on him when I looked at him. So they kicked him in. Big boy, I think he about 6'6", 6'7", if I'm not mistaken. So they kicked him inside. They got some beef inside. We'll talk about that offensive line in a little bit, but they kicked him at right guard. One thing that I seen with Kellen Moore calling a decent game is that Kellen Moore kind of, I've seen him this year evolve a little bit and breaking some tendencies. Like there was time I seen him run a draw in the red zone. Good call to Saquon. Good call. Man, about a 15 to 20-yard gain. Yeah, about 15 yards, I believe. Good call. Scored. And it was to the right side. So let's go ahead and just talk about this offensive line real quick. It's not an athletic offensive line. This offensive line doesn't get to the second level. It's another one of them teams, right? We had the Giants, Pittsburgh, and Atlanta Falcons. And the Philadelphia Eagles is another one that doesn't get to the second level often. However, it's not, they are a strong group, a downhill group, more of a big on big blocking, Bob blocking, if you want to call it, inside zone blocking. That right side, I did see it a few times get a lot of movement in the run game and a lot of action, as far as they big plays in the run game came from that right side. So that's Mekhi Becton, the tackle that kicked inside, and Lane Johnson. Now you got Landon Dickerson, who's also a solid guard, right? But you got some fill-in pieces at center and left tackle now. New left tackle, new center. Of course, the center not as good as Kelsey. But one thing I did see, though, their line is playing together, and they are forming a good pocket for Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts, more times than not, has a lot of time with this offensive line. Now, let's talk about the good thing that the Dallas Cowboys team could have, is that because this team doesn't get to the second level, your linebackers can run free. And having Overshown be free is a good thing for this team. Right? So the couple games that I did watch, the Jaguars game and the Bengals game. So versus the Jaguars, I didn't see too much play action on that. on that game, and that was kind of intriguing to me. But then you can look at the outcome and look at how the game flowed, and they didn't need it. One thing that I did see is that some of the dimes that Hurts would throw would be outside the numbers. Uh, Seeing about this Cowboys team and seeing that number 11 is back, I wouldn't be surprised if they tried to go ahead and 13 personnel you and run down your throat and run toward Micah's side. I wouldn't be surprised. Uh, you know, because of course, at times teams might break a little bit of tendency to attack you where you're weak at. And this run, even though the team been fighting on defense, they're doing the best that they can. With Michael Parsons, you may get some more pressure, but then you sacrifice run defense. So I wouldn't be surprised if they try to pound the ball, make an emphasis on pounding the ball. Of course, Hurts will take off, and he still does that. One thing, though, even though we talk about A.J. Brown, I think probably my biggest concern is Devontae Smith. I think Devontae Smith might try to go ahead and bait this rookie on a double move, and especially if you get it to the second level. On the safeties, is barbecue chicken. I think that's probably, of course, Goddard is always going to be Jalen Hurts' safety net. Of course, dumping it down to Saquon is also a threat. I see that they try to go ahead and outflank you, right? I seen those a couple times. They ran a couple jet sweeps, and then they ended up faking it, boom, in the red zone, and Jalen Hurts kept it for a score. So they set it up, gave the tendency like, oh, okay, you gave it about 2 or 3 times, then boom, Jalen Hurts keep it and scores. He set that up perfectly, man. Like Kellen Hurts is calling a better game. I mean, Kellen Moore calling a better game. What's going on, Craig? But yeah, very interesting though. But and also, of course, a lot of Hurts a lot in shotgun. But I did and I didn't see RPOs as much as I thought I would. So that was kind of intriguing too. So I guess that's just a testament to how Hurts is improving as a quarterback, but he's going to always be flawed in regards to scanning. So maybe Zimmer can take advantage of that. But yeah, they're gonna use Saquon everywhere. They probably might test you on a wheel route if Kendricks get on them. They line them up out wide. They do some things with Saquon. They do their best to try to take advantage, especially try to outflank you. They do their best to try to take advantage of Saquon. But yeah, I think one of my most concerning matchups for this game is if Donovan Wilson is on Goddard and if that rookie is on Devontae Smith. Because Devontae Smith, off of the action that's been going on off Saquon and them, he's been making some explosive plays. Back-to-back games that I watched, he's been making some explosive plays. So that can be concerning, right? That can be very concerning. I think I seen A.J. Brown, if I'm not mistaken. I think he practiced. I'm just going to assume that A.J. Brown is going to be there. Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure, Kellen Moore got this game locked. For sure that. So they better be ready to play, man. They better be ready to play. Let's take a look at this defense, man. So on this Eagles defense, the key players is Jalen Carter, Dallas Goddard. I mean, not Dallas Goddard, but Gardner Johnson to me, and Slay. Key matchups, CD versus Slay. Another one is J-Hop versus Gardner Johnson or Blankenship. Ferguson. One thing that I did see in back-to-back weeks, I seen that both tight ends was able to get upfield on this team and was able to run a couple routes outside the numbers and have success on Gardner Johnson. I think what was it Ingram? He did like a double move up the field, and that gave the Jaguars a chunk play. But the Jaguars struggled mightily in moving the ball for the most part toward the end, even though it was a tight game. Um, but this team, they're gonna make you work it down. Now the good thing is that you got a quarterback that has patience and will work it down this week. It'll be concerning if you had Foe at quarterback, but it's not as concerning. I know people talk about Foe better than Rush. Let's talk about that real quick before we finish up on his defense. Look, physically, yes, Four is better than Rush, but mentally, he's not. And at this point in time, look, we know that Mike McCarthy is going to play Rush because he's still fighting for his job. He would like to keep his job. So he's going to roll with the vet for a couple games. And if the couple games don't work out, then we'll probably see Trey Lance and see is Trey Lance the future or not? The cool thing about it is that even though I didn't say it, I kind of figured this is how this season was going to play out. Something gave me a feeling that this season was going to play out. You know, the way that it's done, and it has. You know, I kind of figured Trey Lance could potentially get a opportunity. I think we talked about that. Matter of fact, I talked about that. I said something, but I think I said something as far as Dak getting benched in the middle of the season and Trey Lance ended up coming in. Well, he's benched, but what I guess he's. I ain't gonna lie, man. I still got my. I ain't gonna lie. I'm not trying to. I still got my doubts on that injury though. I ain't even gonna lie. It's something about how like, all right, so not to try to get too much off topic, but they said that it was off the bone. He got the injury on a rush before that. Then you come back in, like soon as that happened, you're done for. Then you're able to come back in. Something don't seem right. You know? Something don't seem right, man. Like, I know a lot of people ain't peeped that, but something don't seem right. You got that on a scramble, but then you was able to continue on, and then all of a sudden, when it's time to make that throw, now it's off the bone. Very interesting. You could think of it as, hey, that could have quit. You could have think of it, they've been in the air, hey, fake an injury. Hey, look, this season is over with. I want to see what we got with Trey Lance and Cooper Rush real quick. Let's see something. You got paid. You ain't worried about nothing. You know, or they could be like, oh, we don't want to, further try to, risk any injury, and since we had invested in you, let's roll with it like that. A multitude of things come in my mind with that, but I'm not convinced. It's really fake, but we'll see. I don't think they would though. He said Dak fake. I'm kind of with y'all on that. I'm not convinced. How do you get injured throwing a football? The cool thing about it is, right? He said it happened before that. So, I've had hamstring injuries before. Not to the extent of it being off the bone, but I've had some bad ones before. And I felt it. You feel it like you gonna feel it, I myself, I played through it. I played through it. I finished the game, but I was limping so bad. But I finished, but I was limping. knowing that you need your legs to plant, twist, and throw. And I think they said it's on the leg where he gets his where he contorts. I don't know about that one. And even though I had a bad one, it ain't as bad as what he had off the bone. At least I don't think it was. Nah, it wasn't that bad. It was bad, but it wasn't bad. Hamstring purple and blue. It was bad, but it wasn't as bad as what they say Dak got. So if I went through that and his injury is worse, something ain't seeming right, y'all. But I'm not mad at it because this is an opportunity to find out. Can the Cowboys, is Trey Lance the future or is he not? If he not, do you look for it in the draft and you make a big move? Do you look at Bryce Young? You know? What do you do? Yeah. One thing for sure with Dak, see, when they talk about Dak being talented, y'all, it's the physical talent. But evidently he's declined in that. He don't want to run, which that was his best aspect of his game. He don't want to run. So he was conformed to a pocket quarterback. But here's my thing. You're not a good pocket quarterback. You've never been a good pocket quarterback. So if whether you being scared or you feel like your athleticism declined, even though that's not an excuse, if that's the case, then why pay a declining $60 million quarterback whose best asset is no longer there? Who, that doesn't make any sense, y'all. That does not make any sense. And I'm going to tell you why I said what I said in regards to, you know, what I said about Rush. Of course, I'm going to always get some hate. And, you know, that being high on and being positive toward Rush is going against the grain. You know, you got all these Dak lovers. So, of course, that's going against the grain, y'all. But this is my thing. As a quarterback, Rush does what he's supposed to do. He just doesn't have the physical talent, which made him a backup quarterback. If Dak had the mentality and the quarterback mind that Cooper Rush has, I don't think we'll be complaining about Dak Prescott having $60 million. And that goes to show you physical talent don't mean nothing. The coach quarterback got physical talent, but at this point in time, it ain't put together. See, quarterback is more than just throwing the ball 50, 60 yards down the field. You know, it's a big mental game, and Dak struggles with that. Cooper Rush doesn't struggle with that. If we're able to give Cooper Rush some time, he gives us a better chance than Dak does. They talk about he got a noodle arm, so what? Shit, it ain't like we got deep threats. And he throws it good enough. You see the throw to CD on the money. They could talk about that Tolbert, man. Tolbert wasn't running. You see, they get the quitting on Dak and shit. They ain't used to a quarterback putting it on the money. Rush was putting it on the money. That's what you need at quarterback. A quarterback that's going to put it on the money. Good anticipation. Take care of the football. Making sure that you kick, whether it be a punt, a field goal, or an extra point. Making sure that you kick every possession. You see, they're going to look at the stats and compare stats. This ain't a stat thing. Bro, that morale boosted. Like I told y'all on that Sunday, when Rush got in the game, my morale boosted. So I know the team felt that because I felt it. I was like, okay, we got a chance. Why does my backup quarterback and I'm saying like, okay, we got a chance now, and we really did have a chance. I knew that he was going to give us a chance. And we should have tied that game up. CD dropped the play. Turpin should have scored. He tripped up. That was like, bro, come on, G. He was out there trying to brace for contact. He should have scored. Shit, Tolbert should have scored. Like, you know, shit, Tolbert should have 2 tugs. I think the team is going to respond. Like I said, the team doesn't have talent in general. And I'm not judging Cooper Rush by if we win or lost. Quite frankly, in my criticism in regards to Dak Prescott wasn't whether we won or lost, it's your quarterback play. I shouldn't be like, oh man, we had a chance. Our quarterback, especially $60 million quarterback, should never ever lose us a game. Like we lost because of the quarterback. And we could say that a couple times. He hasn't played well against a good defense all year. All year, y'all. All year he hasn't played well against a good defense. I'm ready to see what Rush got. Now, Rush ain't going to be there the whole year. There's going to come a point in time where Trey Lance is going to come and take the field for the Dallas Cowboys. He might even take some of the field, some snaps this week, which would be ideal. It'll be a new look for the Cowboys. I think they should do it, especially in the red zone, especially in short yardage situations. Go ahead and work that boy up in there. Give the Dallas Cowboys, use that boy like some Taysom Hill. Run the ball. Get Trey Lance 4-5 carries this game. Give him a couple pass attempts. I want to know by this year, is Trey Lance my future quarterback? And seeing the way that quarterback is playing, seeing the way that he has been able to sit down and study and look and observe, think you might got something. See, Trey Lance, right? His knock is just that, he ain't had the snaps. He's been young. He hasn't had, from what I've seen on his track record, he hasn't had the snaps at quarterback. Many don't believe, but I've seen enough to know that he has the potential to do something. Put him in the right situation. Bryce Young was worth being the top quarterback, but you see what a bad situation does to him. They ready to crown C.J. Stroud, but has C.J. Stroud been playing good without a couple of them wide receivers? Nah. So you still need a good situation. But I believe Cooper Rush going to give you a chance. The rest is going to be if your wide receiver is going to actually do what they're supposed to do. It's going to go whether is the inside of the pocket going to be good, because it's going to get tested, because the Eagles got some strong boys and they play strong at the line of scrimmage on that defensive line, especially in the interior. Jalen Carter going to get upfield. Big boy, the other one from Georgia, he going to play strong. Brandon Graham, he's always a solid end. He always does his job. That man had a long ass career, don't he? Just when I think he gonna retire, he always come back. Long ass career, don't he? I respect it. And then you got Sweat. That's a solid defensive line. Nolan Smith, who I think could be in a better situation and prosper. They ain't using it the way that they should. So they have a solid defensive line. And then when you look at their linebackers, they keep them free. So I believe it's 53 Bond. When he's free, he's around the football a lot. He makes a lot of plays, no lie. He makes a lot of plays, But them key matchups is going to be essential. Jalen Carter versus the interior is going to be essential. Jordan Davis versus Cooper Beebe is going to be essential. It's going to be essential. It's gonna be some tough running inside, y'all. Tough running. Uh they've been solid against the run, both games that I watched. Uh, Now in the red zone, I see that the Jags motioned and the Philadelphia Eagles didn't pick it up. So that's interesting. And it was a chunk play. As mentioned before, I think that we got some opportunities with our tight end on them safeties. I think Cooper DeJean, if you make him come out of his breaks, I think he slow out his breaks. I think that's some barbecue chicken. He's the nickel back. So I think there's some barbecue chicken right there on Cooper DeJean. They high on him, but he's very beatable. They gonna stun up front. They gonna test you up front, Cooper Beebe. So I hope you ready. I hope you ready, Cooper Beebe. Because this is gonna be a big test. Big test. Big test. Oh damn, I put the thing, but for the offense, damn, I put the wrong thing. But I was talking about the offense for our linebackers. They need to watch that cutback for Saquon. But yeah, man, make N'Kobe Dean cover. If he's gonna get PT, make him cover. Make him cover. Make him cover, y'all. One thing I seen, Darius Slay been giving up a couple plays upfield. I seen Burton from the Bengals take him upfield and beat him. But you know, for the most part, they played Jamar Chase kind of solid though. What's his name? Isaiah Rodgers. Isaiah Rodgers had made a nice little play and tipped it to CJ Gardner-Johnson for a pick. He ran with him the whole time too, as you can see. What's his name? Chase went off yesterday, but he didn't do that against Philly. Philly gonna make it tough and make you work it down. So wide receivers gonna have to be ready to make some plays. You know, I think probably your best chance is trying to get the edge in a running game, off tackle in a running game, because there's gonna be some tough sledding there. But I believe that they can protect inside. But my key thing is picking up them stunts. The wide receiver and the QB need to be on the same page. If I see some option routes, man, with CD that Cooper Rush and him on the same page, man, that's gonna tell me everything I need to know. That's gonna tell me everything I need to know, man. It's gonna be interesting. This game is gonna speak a lot. Win or lose, it's gonna speak a lot. Cowboys need this game. It's important that they get this game. It's a division game. But how they come out is going to tell you everything that they need to know. If they're coming out to play for Cooper Rush, they don't respect Dak Prescott as a quarterback. They don't respect him. And if Jerry Jones can't see that, why are you even a GM? Question to be answered. But all right, y'all, man, that's my brief little scouting report in regards to what to expect on Sunday. I'm kind of looking forward to the game. The first time I've said that in quite some time. I'm actually looking forward to Sunday, y'all. So let's see what's going on. But all right, y'all, to the next one. We gone.